Hello everyone, welcome back. Today in this tutorial, I am trying to explaining about completable feature. So in previous videos, I already explained about introduction to multi-threading and moreover thread priorities and thread pool. So if you can observe in multi-threading, introduction, we are able to create threads manually by extending thread class or by implementing runnable interface. And moreover that in thread pool, we are trying to create number of threads by using executor service. So depending on your requirement, you can create that new fixed thread pool. You can pass integer number, then it will create those many number of threads for this executor service. Then we can submit our task to that corresponding executor service. Once the tasks are done, we will shut down. So this is about thread pool. Now let me try to explain about completable feature. So in completable feature, we are not responsible for creating thread. So completable feature will create a thread, do the task asynchronously. Once the task is done, we can apply callback functions to get the result. So the main advantage of completable feature is asynchronous programming and non-blocking nature. So completable feature was introduced in 1.8. So before 1.8 we have concept called feature only. So the problem with feature is it is blocking, and moreover that here we don't have callback functions. So and also some disadvantages will be there. So to overcome that problems, completable feature are introduced in 1.8. So by using completable feature, first advantage is asynchronous programming. So asynchronous programming, second one is non-blocking. What is asynchronous programming, what is non-blocking? So asynchronous programming is nothing but when you are trying to do task in main thread. So if you want to do some other task asynchronously, not depending on main thread, in that case if you can implement a completable feature, the task will be done by some other thread, I can say child thread. So from worker join, thread pool, some worker thread. So here main thread won't block. That is nothing but non-blocking. So some other thread will do asynchronously. Then you can apply callback function to get the result about that asynchronous task. So this is about asynchronous and non-blocking. So to get this, to this asynchronous way of programming, we have some methods called runAsync and supplyAsync. These are the frequently used methods. RunAsync, runAsync. This is the one of the method, and the second method is supplyAsync. These are the frequently used methods. We can observe here run async. If you can observe this word, it is expecting runnable interface as a argument. Supply async. Runnable is a functional interface, right? Supply also supplier. We can observe supply async. It is expecting supplier functional interface. Supplier is a functional interface. So by using this, we will get these asynchronous and non-blocking. Now let me try to explain with an example. And moreover that we have some number of methods are there to get these asynchronous and non-blocking, like some callback functions like then apply, then get, then run. So these kind of some methods will be there. Anyway, I will explain at the time of writing example in IDE. Now let me try to explain high level run async and supply async. So completable feature is a class. So completable feature, first we need to create reference. So completable feature corresponding, it is a generic type of class, we need to specify. So run async, if we can observe runnable interface run method, return type is void and parameter is 0. It won't accept any parameters and it won't return anything, right? So in that case you can specify void here. So reference name, feature completable feature reference name you can pass. So one of the method run async, right, inside that completable feature. So completable feature. So we need to call that static method, that is the run async is a static method, we can call by using class name dot run async. So then we need to pass that implementation of runnable functional interface. So here you can do your asynchronous task. So imagine you are writing this completable feature inside main thread. So once you implemented this logic, when you are trying to call, we can call this. Once the completion task is done, you can apply either it may be a completable feature dot get or join. So these are the methods to get the result. So then I will show you. This is I can write on s out inside main method outside, and I mean before main thread start, main thread end. Between that, we will get the result of completable feature. So if you have doubt really this code execute asynchronous, I mean different thread, we can write here current thread name, currently executed thread name, some s out. We will check that it is really executing in another thread or not. So here it is not expecting any parameter and it won't return anything. Why? Because runnable interface run method we have here. And if you want to return something, supplier, how supplier will work? It won't take anything but it will return something. That is about supplier functional interface. I already explained about JDK 8 features in detail. All functional interfaces like supplier, function, consumer, produce, not producer. This kind of some functional interface in built functional interfaces, predicate, by predicate, by consumer, all functional interfaces I explained in detail. So if you did not watch that videos. So completable feature of supplyAsync. So completable feature of, so here it will return something, right? You need to specify the type, corresponding type. So any type you can specify here. It is also generic type of class, right? Any type of returning result you can specify here. Then completable feature, same process. Completable feature dot run. This is not run async, this is supply. We are talking about supply async, right? So one of the method is supply async. So from this we can return some result, whatever it may be. We are trying to specify the type t, right? So same type we need to return once you did your logic here. So this is about run async and supply async. One point you need to remember is, so run async internally uses parameter is runnable interface run method. Supply async supplier interface get method. That's it. Then we have some callback functions. Once we did this task in asynchronous way, to get the result, we have method called, I mean to then accept, then apply, then run. And moreover that if you will get some exceptions inside this at the time of doing asynchronous task, we have some exception handling mechanism methods also, I mean callback functions like exceptionally. So one of the method will be there. So inside that you will provide some default. Imagine you got some exception here. So if you want to provide some exception or default result, if you are trying to provide, you can pass here like this. Exceptionally, this is the one of the utility method. Once you got it, you want to do something with that result, we have then accept, I mean callback function. And moreover that if you want to do, I mean combine more than one result, in that case also we have then combine, one of the method present inside completable feature. Why? Because this asynchronous task, right? Imagine if we have two tasks. So task one is getting user details. Getting user details is the one task, and the second task is getting product or order details, whatever it may be. Product details, and third one also order details. So these kind of some other task. Imagine each task is depending on some other database or other service, some restful web service. In that case, if you want to return result like combining all these result, generic type of result. So I want to get user details and product details, order details. So in that case I will create three completable features: feature 1, feature 2, feature 3. So to combine all these features we have concept called then combine. So first I will get first completable feature, like let me try to remove this, I will explain. F1, then combine. So once we got the result from F1, again I am trying to combine result 1 and result 2. So once we got the result, both result again, then combine. We can perform some chaining operations. So once we got the result from all these three features independently, we can combine by using then combine, then we will return the result. So let me try to write example. I will explain about what is runAsync, supplyAsync, and callback functions, how to combine them. Let me try to write examples for completable feature. So for that I already created one file, completable feature example.java. Now let me try to write first one completable feature example, simple example. So completable feature is from java.util.concurrent package. So it is expecting type t result. First let me try to explain about run async. So void completable feature. So one of the method is called runAsync. Completable feature dot. I will call that runAsync method. So runAsync, if you can observe, parameter is runnable. It is the overloaded method. I am trying to use first one, runAsync, as a parameter is runnable. So runnable method, runnable interface run method is it won't accept any parameter and it won't return anything. Now let me try to do it. So running asynchronously, something I am trying to write some message here. Then what I'm trying to do, completable feature dot join method I am trying to apply to execute that method. So why? Because it is not returning any result, right? So just I am trying to invoke that completable feature. So if it is something written, then I can apply completable feature dot get. So now I am trying to some message main end and main start. Now let me try to run. So if we have doubt, main thread is depending, main these two statements are running on main thread, this statement is running on other thread. Let me try to show you that. So first, once that log is done, then I am trying to print thread name, thread dot. If it is executing different thread, then it will we will get thread name like some worker join pool thread. So get name, current thread dot get name. Now let me try to run it. So you are seeing, right? This is worker, fork join pool worker thread one. So definitely it is working on some other thread, right? Instead of main thread. So if we can observe here, if I can run same statement here, we will get main. So this is the main, right? Main thread name. But here worker thread. So you are getting, right. So this task is working asynchronously. So anyway, it is writing, standalone application, right? Straightforward. So if you are trying to make some RESTful web service call here or some database connection call, so to get the result from database, this kind of when you are trying to do some real-time task, at that time we will get that exact functionality. Here anyway it is immediately it is executing. Why? Because there is no it is just I'm trying to print statement, right? With that service take, sorry, it is maybe service call, RESTful web service call or DB call. In that time it will take some time. So we will get exact scenario, we will understand more when you are working with real time. So instead of that, if we can observe some thread dot sleep here, so some milliseconds, right? So it will throw interrupted exception. We need to wrap it with the try catch. So in that case, if I can run, so it will wait for 4 seconds. Then it will do its remaining task. So why? Because I am trying to interrupt here. I want to pause 4 seconds manually. So in real time it may be web service call, it will take time. So this is about runAsync. It is not expecting any parameter, it won't return anything. This is about why, because I mean here it is void. Why? Because runAsync is return type is void. So next one is supplyAsync. So supplyAsync almost same, but it will return some result. So replace with the runAsync with supplyAsync. So supply async, if we can observe that parameter type is supplier functional interface. We need to specify the return type here. I am trying to return some string. So I'm trying to declare here string as some something, some string message I am trying to pass here. So this string message I am trying to return. So here instead of that, if you want to get that result, whatever it is trying to provide, right? So instead of join, I can call here before that some get method also. Dot get. So it is throwing some interrupted exception and execution exception. So I will assign that result. Then let me try to print that. So it will wait for 4 seconds. Then it will print that. So allow async, mean hello async code, I am trying to return this one, right? So this is the result. The difference between run async and supply async is run async, it won't take any parameter, it won't return anything. Supply async, it won't take any parameter, but it will return something, whatever logic you are doing to, you are trying to do asynchronous, right? So it will return some result. So imagine we are trying to return some user details, like here instead of returning some this, so user details, I will combine, I mean, more than one task, I mean, asynchronous task. So right now I am getting user details. Let me try to remove these as out statements. So run asynchronously thread name and corresponding user details and main thread name. So now once I got the result, what I want to do, I want to do some asynchronous task. I mean, again, I mean, I want to do some callback function. I will apply. So instead of that, let me try to explain about some. Imagine if the user does not exist. In that case, imagine here it is the null. So, so with that result, we are trying to do something, some operations. Imagine to lowercase or uppercase, whatever it may be. So in that case, here we will get some null pointer exception, right? How we can resolve that? If I can run this, definitely I will get null pointer exception. If the user is there, we are trying to return result. If the user is not there, we are getting null pointer exception. How I can resolve this? Instead of returning null, some default value you can pass by using exceptionally. So if you are seeing this method, right, it is expecting function as a argument. So here what I am trying to do, so I am trying to provide some default. So in that case, I won't get any exception. Let me try to run. Let me try to remove this 2 seconds. So some default user I am trying to get, right. So like this, we can handle the exception, not only null pointer. Any exception you can handle. You can provide some default value or alternative solution you can implement. So if the user is there, so I am writing some messages only. In real time, it will be in use case will be different. So right now, I am not getting default user. Why? Because the, I mean, it is not null. If it is null, it will this exponentially, I mean, exception handling technique will work. So this is about exception handling when you are trying to work in asynchronous code. Next one, this is the first, right? I am trying to explain about combining. So imagine this is the completable feature 1. Let me try to copy and paste it. Completable feature 2. So here I am trying to return some order details. So default, here it may be default order won't be there, so some xyz default, some any alternative solution you can provide. Now I am trying to explain about how to combine more than one completable feature. So first, I want to get both user details and order details. Imagine user details will be some other service, rest service, user service rest call. So next one is order service rest call. Order service rest call. I want to get combined result as a response. In that case, what I will do, let me try to all this. First one is completable feature 1 dot, then combine. I am trying to pass completable feature 2. Once the first completable feature is got the result, then I am trying to apply. So result 1 and result 2, I am trying to combine and I am trying to return it. So like this we can combine more than one. Even we have a number of features also, we can combine by using then combine. So finally I am trying to call by using this then combine reference dot get. So I'm trying to print that result, I mean both user details and order details. Anyway, here we don't have that user and order pojo classes, but I am trying to return some simple string message. We try to run. So we are getting right user details, order details. So this is about combining completable features, I mean more than one feature. So user details and order details. In real time, it may be JSON object, user object along with order details. So like this, we can combine. So I hope you got some clarity. So what is completable feature? How to get completable feature with what is runAsync and what is supplyAsync? How to combine? How to handle exceptions? Like this, I explained almost all concepts. So if you like the content, hit on like button and subscribe Programming KT. Thanks for watching.